let's go back into
The Darth.
Darthy and see what he's got for us. And we have got Port Adelaide. Pretty interesting team in regard to a lot of the rhetoric around them this year, which I think there seems to be a little bit of a feeling that they might have maxed out in the last couple of years with their higher ladder positions. I think they've won more games than any other side over the last 2 years. Haven't made a grand final in that time. Probably haven't been the best team or even the second best team in the last 2 years, but they've won a lot of games and they've had 2 preliminary final appearances. I don't know whether they... It's kind of hard. I can't see them taking that next step probably with where they are now. I think that there's every chance that they could be a very good side again and they could be a top 4 side again if things go right for them because, you look through the team, there's not many holes really. Like they haven't got guns all over the park, but they've got really solid players in each line. But I just don't really see them overtaking or joining the ranks with Brisbane, the Bulldogs and Melbourne this year with what they've currently got. I think it's probably more likely that they might stagnate for a few years and then, crack on again when the really, really young guns that they've got in their prime.
Yeah, it feels a bit stale to me at Port Adelaide. I think with, Ken Hinkley being there, they've still got that, let's call it what it is, an aging core in Gray and Boak and Dixon and those guys. And then, those other players like Georgiadis and Butters, Connor Rosie haven't really come on yet to the point of being, they're very good young players, but they're not stars of the competition, if that makes sense. So I wonder if they're just sort of going to have a fairly middling year. I'm not going to tip them for the spoon again, Tom, but a fairly middling year. And maybe Ken Hinkley gets moved on at the end. It just feels like there just needs to be some kind of rejuvenation or something like that, because at the moment it's just not much. There's not a lot of excitement around Port Adelaide. I think we all sort of think that they're going to finish between 4th and 8th and probably win one final, and that's going to be it. And maybe they're happy with that, and maybe that's a successful year, but it doesn't really feel like a premiership team to me, and a lot of that is because of how stale it feels.
Yeah, I don't think Port Adelaide would be happy with that. They're very much a high-achieving club historically. But, look, I mean, they do have, I think, a relatively balanced midfield with the inside and out, but they don't have that depth there. And I think that's probably where they fall away against the really, really good sides who are stacked with midfielders, all the way down to basically sort of the 10 players in their starting 22 who can easily roll through. Their Port don't really have that yet. So, can we see someone like Drew or Dan Houston or Carl Amon or Dersmer, can they really get in there and play inside roles? And we're yet to see that happen. I mean, Drew plays inside role. That's probably unfair, but he's still kind of a developing player in that role. So, yeah, if things go badly for Port Adelaide this year and they get a bad run with injuries, I could potentially see them dropping out of the 8.
Tip them for the spoon.
But if they get on a roll again, they could easily be top 4. But yeah, I just don't know. I just can't quite see them taking the next step for some reason. So
just tip them for the spoon, Tom. You want to.
I don't want to tip them for the spoon.
Talked me into it last time.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, all right. I've probably got them bottom half of the top 8. Probably, I think, is around about where it is.
Yeah. Hopefully they're not too traumatised after that prelim. All right. Speaking of trauma, old Darthy here.